A horrible crash 3 years prior took away Alex's ability to walk. Now the tall, handsome, athletic man was in a wheelchair. But there was no one to blame but himself. He decided to test a new car. Sports cars and high speeds were his weakness. He was so eager to test his new iron horse in action that he didn't even wait for the weather to improve. The entire state was covered by a cyclone, and it rained and snowed heavily all day while freezing everything overnight. The roads were icy. But he decided not to wait. He went out to the track that was an ice rink in spots. He remembered how he shifted gears, gathered wild speeds, and greedily looked at his speedometer when suddenly the car flipped and rolled like a snowflake in the wind. Then, it was silent. Alex awoke in the hospital. He remembered how he realized for the first time that he couldn't feel his legs, and the doctor who seemed to tell him about his injuries for eternity. The doctor said they did everything they could, and finally he said, "Unfortunately, you'll never walk again." Alex's strong personality allowed him to accept this and live on with a positive outlook. Alex sat in his wheelchair by the service entrance to a beautiful building. It was a hotel where Alex planned to spend the night. The only entrance suitable for wheelchairs was blocked by a bunch of boxes. It started to rain, and he needed to get in as soon as he could. But there was no one around. How can such a nice hotel not consider disabled people? I shouldn't have to sleep outside, Alex thought, trying to move the boxes blocking his way. But then the door opened and a tall man with a beard and a moody face came out. He looked at Alex trying to move the boxes, turned away, and quickly went up the stairs. It was the only person Alex had seen in the last 40 minutes, so he decided to act. Alex grabbed him by the hand and said, "Hey, could you help me get in, please?" The man was stunned and scowled, saying, "Young man, are you sure this is the place for you? It's an expensive hotel. Maybe you should look elsewhere." "No, I meant to go here," Alex said. "I'd do it myself, but the only ramp in the entire building isn't at the main entrance and it's blocked by boxes." "Ramp?" The man smirked. "This isn't a ramp. It's to bring food into the kitchen. There are no ramps for guests here. Guests of this hotel lead a very active lifestyle." After finishing, he smirked again. "Do you work here?" Alex asked. "Yes, I'm an irreplaceable person. I'm a cleaner," he said with a true smile this time. Alex took some money out of his pocket, gave it to the cleaner and asked, "Please help me get in." He frowned again and indicated he didn't need the money, but grabbed the wheelchair and pushed it up the ramp. "If you're sure you want to be here, let's go." He easily kicked the boxes aside. He opened the door and told Alex, "Good luck." Alex didn't understand what he meant. Alex went through the storerooms and hallways and found the entrance hall. He looked around. It was beautiful. The decor was fantastic, the furniture expensive, and everything was stylish. He went to the receptionist's desk. The cute girl saw a wet, messy boy in a wheelchair, got confused, and lost her smile. When Alex asked for a room, she rudely declined and said they had no free rooms. Alex pointed to the room keys on hooks, but she said they were reserved and their guests would be arriving shortly. "Please, I really need a room for just one night. It's late and pouring outside," Alex said. But she repeated that there were no empty rooms and told him to find somewhere else to sleep, then picked up her phone. A minute later, a bouncer almost 7 feet tall came out with a scrawny, short, overly sleek, and expensively dressed person running behind him. When they approached, the fancy man motioned for the guard to step aside, made a disdainful face at Alex, fixed his watch, sighed, and said, "I'm sorry, but we don't do charity here. You need to leave." Alex looked at the man who resembled a peacock with confusion. He had a badge which said he was a manager named Tom Dubois. "Sir, why do you think I'm asking for charity? I would like to rent a room and pay for it." Alex took out his wallet and showed that he had money. But the manager's face didn't change. Even though Tom Dubois was just a manager, he considered the hotel his. It was owned by his uncle who didn't understand the hotel business and completely trusted his nephew to run it. He never got involved. Tom turned the hotel into a kind of brothel. He offered girls for the night to frequenting rich guests. He was a pimp. The hotel had not seen a typical hotel guest for the last year. Instead, it saw people who paid very well for a couple of hours of paid love. Tom didn't need strange, unknown guests. But Alex was persistent and had money. He smiled at Alex disdainfully, turned to the counter and said, "Stella, give this man a room on the 3rd floor." She looked at Tom confused. The hotel didn't have an elevator, so how would he get to his room? She began filling it out, nevertheless. Tom's face broke into an ugly, self-satisfied smile. He didn't deny the guest, he just made it so the guest would leave. Alex sighed and moved towards the exit. He stopped there for a minute, thinking about how he would leave, but 2 guards came up and took him and his chair down the stairs. It was dark and cold. His phone was dead. Alex tried to think of what to do. He had never felt so helpless. Suddenly, someone's hand was on his shoulder. Alex turned around. "So they didn't give you a room?" a familiar voice asked. It was the same bearded cleaner who once looked so harsh, but now was happily smiling. "I've got an apartment just over there and saw you get carried out. Don't worry, you can stay with me, and we'll see what to do in the morning," he said and started pushing Alex. Alex wasn't overjoyed, but he didn't seem to have any other option. 30 minutes later, they were in his kitchen having dinner. His name was Michael. He was well-educated but spent some time in prison for some nonsense. That's how he lost his wife and daughter. It was almost impossible to find a normal job, so now he worked as a cleaner. Michael also told Alex what Tom does in the hotel. They talked about their lives the whole night. They were friends by morning. Around noon, Alex got a call and he looked out the window. An expensive car had driven up and a well-dressed, gray-haired man got out. He stopped, looked at what he had purchased, and went to the entrance. Tom Dubois quickly ran around the new guest. The entire staff gathered in the entrance to meet the hotel's new owner. "I'm sorry to say that most of the staff will be fired today," he began. "Unfortunately, you did not pass my test. A man came here yesterday, my son. His job was to evaluate the quality of the services provided. But unfortunately, he was tossed out." Then the doors opened, and the cleaner came in pushing Alex. "Hey, Dad," Alex said to the new owner. He smiled at his son. The room was deadly silent. They all realized that Alex wasn't some bum with stolen money for a room, but the son of a wealthy businessman. For some reason, none of them noticed that his clothes and shoes were from famous, expensive brands. Of course, the smiles, apologies, and flattery from the manager and receptionist didn't save them. All the fired workers left within the hour. Michael became the new manager. He got his family back thanks to his good job. His wife became the new receptionist. A year later, thanks to reorganizing from the new administration, the hotel started making good money. This was excellent for Alex and his father, as well as Michael and his wife. And the business would become a family one, since Alex and Michael's daughter Olivia were getting married.